Hey there, toy fans. We're back with another Happy Panda toy review video. Today we're going to be going over
The Talking Board by Doc A.
So my name is Rich.
My name is Eleni.
And I'm Ben. So whenever we do these review videos, we like to break them down in a couple categories. The first is going to be
the concept or the idea behind the toy. Ben, you want to start us off?
Back in 2009, I believe, Devil Robots came out with a Dunny that it was Tofu Dunny, had a block head, and I would say it wasn't very well received in the community. It's one of those ones that you were able to pick
People
up.
hated it. And there was two colorways.
Yeah.
Why did it need two colorways?
Red and blue. So it was like one of those ones you were able to pick up at will. And finally, 2015, Doc A did something great, and he made a custom toy, which was the divination board. It was amazingly well done. Loved the piece. Wish I could have gotten my hands on it personally. I was not able to. But best thing to come out of that platform, now basically they're taking that custom, turning it into a 5-inch Dunny that we see before us. Concept, it's great. You took a kind of a lackluster Dunny, you did something in your style, Doc A, and just made it marvelous. So 5.
I'm going to go with the 3. I think it's okay. Because here's the thing. While I agree with Ben, he took probably one of the most unexciting Dunnies I think I've ever opened out of a blind box. And then you look at it and you go like, I can't even customize this. What do you do with it? And I feel like he took something and he did. He made you go like, wow, that's that same Dunny? That's really cool. So I really appreciate that. However, I'm not huge on the idea of like Ouija boards and fortune telling. Like that's not really a big concept for me, and what I do like when I see Doc A stuff, it's more of that Mectorian, funky, unique, just steampunk stuff. And a steampunk like Ouija board is really like the least impressive thing for me. So while the idea of the Ouija board is down here, what he did with the concept is up here, so it levels off at a 3.
I'm going to split the difference. I'm going to give it a 4. I think it's a cool concept. And again, originally taking a Dunny that was not super exciting and that people kind of overlooked a lot and turn it into something interesting and different, I give that props. So 4 points for me.
All right. Moving on, we go into the packaging.
Design and the materials of the packaging. You want to start off? We'll go on this end. You can be packaging first.
Yeah, okay. I'm going to give this a 3 for packaging. Honestly, this is kind of the standard now for the 5-inch Dunnies, except for the Jason Freeney, inexplicably. Why would they do that? Whatever. That's a different thing. But they, there's some cool stuff here. You can see kind of the sketchy sort of artwork all around, and, each angle that you look at it, you kind of see different things, and there's like a whole little write-up back here about it that's fun and cool. So a 3 is, I like it. It's nice.
How are you doing?
Yeah, packaging is exactly run-of-the-mill, what you'd expect from a 5-inch Dunny nowadays. Unless, of course, it's a Jason Freeney Dunny, which you get something completely different. But you know what? It works. That sounds just run-of-the-mill. 3 right down the board for me, except for the fact you got some great Doc A artwork all over the box. And I'm a sucker for some Doc A stuff. I feel like there's more printed on this box than has been printed on the previous 5-inch Dunny boxes.
True.
So with the extra designs, extra stuff in there, something that I like to see, I give it a 4. I think it stepped it up just a little bit from what I expected.
Okay. For me, I actually don't like the packaging. I'm going to go with the 2. Window box, cool. You can actually see the Dunny. The Dunny comes with the planchette accessory, but it's actually hidden so you can't see it in the box. Plus, this Dunny has so many unique sculptural elements to it that you really can't even tell in the window box. So the idea of it having a window is kind of pointless. You kind of broke the mold with the boxes with the Jason Freeney, so I really didn't think this needed to have a die-cut window box in it at all. For Doc A, he always does a border on his boxes, and in the corners you have something very unique to that design, so you got like little planchette arrows. I think that's really cool. Again, ties it together to other packaging he's designed. I like the art on it. You definitely know what you're getting inside, the type of Dunny. tons of great write-up stuff on it. The colors for me are just weirdly muted. I don't get the whole wood grain tone. Original Ouija boards were wood, so maybe it's there. But overall, it's a steampunk piece. I kind of wish it had more of that coppery, flashy look to it. Great art, muted colors, pointless window design. I do like, again, though, that they got the name of the actual toy and the number in the series. But again, I'm just sort of over the whole window box thing when it starts obscuring the actual vision of the toy. So yeah, 2. Don't like it.
As far as the artwork on the box, I feel it pulls more towards like the Victorian era, which is very steampunk,
Like that newspaper style.
Yes, and
Yeah.
I feel like if I walked into a shop on Main Street or something like that, these might be advertisements that they would have on their windows advertising their new divination board.
I get that.
And that's why I think it works. Because I would agree, typically the color palette is very muted, but because of that, the color palette actually speaks to me as this is signage in a shop window of that era, which you would find steampunk objects.
It makes sense. It's just one of those, do you use this in your display? Is it eye-catching in terms of colorage? For me, it's not.
All right, well, let's talk about translation.
Translation. So where we go from concept into actual product that you could hold in your hand.
This is a tough one to grade. It feels very meta, he took an existing Dunny that was different sculpturally and then customized it, and now Kid Robot has reproduced his custom Dunny that they had produced the first time around. So it feels kind of cannibalistic and weird in that sense. I don't even know what to give it.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm going to give it a 5. I love it. The sculptural details in the head are fantastic. Again, it's an exact replica of what Doc A did, with the exception of, because the panels that he used were engraved acrylic, so you can actually see where the laser cut into it. That's obviously gone super smooth. On the back, where the key actually turns and the keyhole it plugs into is sculpted. What they didn't make sculpted that was on the original custom were the lapels and the pockets of the smoking jacket, which I actually prefer because I don't know why everything else would be flat except for that. With Doc A's sculpturalness, it kind of worked for a custom, but in terms of the production piece, I like that they didn't get too sculptural with that and let it be more about the rivets and all the cutouts in the letters and the logos in the head. I also like, again, this is more original custom than what they did, all the Doc A stuff kind of have mustaches. It's like a hidden mustache with these little arrows in between the yes and the no. It's sort of like the hidden Mickey. It's the hidden mustache.
They have it on the back too if you...
Oh yeah, like the flourishes by the end. Again,
Yeah.
It's just something that they took the custom and they replicated it perfectly, and for me that's a 5. I love it.
I will say I like that the his logo is debossed in the sides here. It feels cool. It looks cool. What did you give it? You give it a 5?
I give it a 5.
I'm gonna give it a 4. Ben?
All right. Well, this is an easy one for me. I'm gonna give it a 5. I feel like they did a great job translating this into into the vinyl toy as a platform toy. All the choices that they made, as far as design going into the production, I feel were the right choices. You simplified things that needed to be simplified just to make sure it was a little bit cleaner, and the parts that were super important, like those rivets and the plates, they're done right. And I was really afraid, hey, maybe we're just gonna get a flat plate with some printing on it. It'd be so easy to stamp gold letters on a black plate. They really took a risk by debossing the letters in there and trying to line up a print pad to stamp those correctly. I mean, that's a real risk because it's going to be a hit or miss. And you went for it. You changed some things about the design on the smoking jacket, and while I don't prefer it, you know what? It's going to be a hell of a lot less than making that payment on the custom. So I understand why you have to make those changes, and
It's the compromise.
I will say it's a very tactile Dunny. You have a lot of different textures, a lot of debossing on the face, and the crankable key in the back, and just everything that they've done in the back, I feel really encourages taking out of the box and displaying and playing with, which I'm all for. I think it's great when Kid Robot or any company really does things that force you to take it out of the box and interact with it, because I feel like that's what these things are for. You know, it's not to be put up on a shelf and sitting in a box forever gathering dust. Like, they're meant to be touched and held and, you know, sometimes played with.
All right. Well, I mean,
And that's this one.
Yeah, it was definitely an easy 5 for me on that. I mean, they just did such a great job. The only thing I would say I would have liked to have seen, which this is going to really come down to execution, but...
Well, let's move into execution then.
Okay, let's move into execution.
Go ahead.
The one thing I'd really would like to have seen is when we had the Santa Bot, 2000...
A long time ago.
2014,
2000, a long time
2000
ago.
something question mark.
Actual date to be here.
Yeah, they actually had a crankable key where when you're turning the key, it would be like click, 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 click. You would feel it,
You
And you would hear it
and you would
too.
hear it, and it was very satisfying.
Yeah.
It was something you couldn't help but twist that key over and over.
And it
again.
did nothing. It was the original fidget spinner.
Yeah.
You know, because it actually had a movement. It you know, created a reverberation, and it had a sound, and people would come in and they would play with it all day. So yeah.
So what you're saying is, Kid Robot, you have missed your chance. You could have been the fidget spinner.
That's right.
Before the fidget spinner.
Fidgety toys.
That's right.
Yeah, so like I felt like that would have made it better.
Okay.
Like I mentioned earlier, the print padding, I noticed on some of them it lines up, on some of them it does not line up. Like I said, it's a risk. When it's done right, it looks glorious. When it's done wrong, I think it looks... Rich has a slightly different opinion on that, but I felt like it was a good choice to make. It's a 4. It's a solid 4. I really wanted to give it a 5. There's just little things about it that could have pushed it over, and it just didn't quite get there.
Oddly enough, for me, this is a 5. Yeah, there's problems with it. But when you're trying to do something to make it look antique-y, I kind of like it when it looks a little janky. Then actually kind of gives it that authenticity of
Good
like...
word, janky.
Like, you know, like, okay, you have your oxidation green, you know, in like all the crevices. It's not perfect all the way around. Some places it's pooled, some places it's not, some places it looks like it's the wrong color. But that's nature, you know, like it's not always going to be perfect. You know, the print padding is a little off. It kind of gives it this level of like shadow. I don't know. This is the one time where it's just like when something looks a little like that's mass production sometimes.
How about those lines on that pants? Does that...
You know,
Does that help you with the jankiness?
well, okay, it's really screwed up by the crotch where it goes around the leg.
It's screwed up everywhere, hon. Look at it. Look.
Yeah, no, it's... Here's the thing. Has Kid Robot ever been able to do pinstripes well on a Dunny? This is probably the best pinstriped Dunny they've done.
No.
You got a better one?
No, I can't think of one off the top of my head.
The barber from Scott Tolson?
Yes, thank you. Yep. That was better. That was miles better.
All right. I am fascinated by this Dunny, and apparently I am wrong. I will step down
No,
to a 4.
No,
It's
you're
not
not wrong.
you're
It's your
wrong.
opinion.
No,
It's a 5.
you've presented reasons. I
Oh,
think
okay.
I'm just
So we've
enamored with
convinced
it.
you.
Yeah, I think I'm just
Okay.
you know, I'm oddly fascinated by this piece, and I guess I wanted to give it a 5, but realistically it is probably a 4.
Another thing with the oxidation is they've done this before on his pieces. In 2010, he released the Steam Dunny in the annual series, and it's a very well done piece. And I feel like they did the oxidation better on that piece, and that's something this company has already tackled. They've
it's
already
not
done.
new.
However, that one, because of the metallic paints, does have sweating problems. I'm hoping that they fix that with this.
Oh, we'll find out in like
this
5
is-
to 6
but
years.
Yeah. In 5 to 6 years, you'll see up here whether or not it works.
So I am going to differ completely from these two guys and say it's a 2 for me. The oxidation doesn't look like oxidation. It looks like sloppy paintbrush details, like really, really sloppy. I don't know why they didn't just choose to do a wash for the same type of effect. The fact that the color of the smoking jacket doesn't really match the custom, or Doc A's palette just in general bugs me.
We did look at it. Doc A's palette, when he's using this color red for like the smoking jacket, is a lot more muted and a lot darker. This is a little bit more vibrant. So
yeah, so I feel like that throws off the aesthetic. The terrible patina throws off the aesthetic. The wonky lines, the bad QC. It's a 2 for me on execution. They had a good concept. They made good choices in translating that concept, but they've executed it poorly, in my opinion.
All right. Well, let's talk about the value of the piece.
So these retail for $39.99 in the U.S. Some stores are going to be higher. Some may throw them on sale. I have no idea. But $39.99 U.S. retail.
$39.99 at Happy Panda Toys, where it matters. I think that's a 3. It's at its money. You know, it's a different sculpt head than they normally do, so I don't mind it being a little bit more expensive than the 5 inches have been in the past. So, 3 at its money.
All right. Yeah, it's such a tough one. It really is. Like, okay, so let's talk about the fact that you put Doc A on something, I'm going to spend the money on it. I've spent ridiculous amounts of money on stuff that I should not have spent ridiculous amounts of money on because he designed it.
You could just put a period there. You have spent ridiculous amounts of money on things you shouldn't have. Period.
Yeah, I guess that's true. So, like, it feels like a good deal because I'm like, oh, I would have spent,
You got stars in your eyes.
Yeah, I would have spent $50-$60 on this piece. But at the same time, like, should I have to have spent $50-$60 on this piece? No, I shouldn't. It's not. We've already set a precedence on what these things should cost. This is higher than that. You do have a unique sculpt. But again, they've taken the unique sculpt out of the pricing. They have ones with the unique sculpts that are cheaper at the entry-level price point. So then they have basic ones with a small accessory at a higher price point. Where truly does their pricing come from? I no longer know. I don't understand. It has an accessory. It has a unique sculpt. I feel like $40, it's at its money. I want to say it's better than at its money, but it's not. Just give it a 3.
You're so upset about that 3.
Well, yeah, you know why? Because it's one of those, like, there's no consistency anymore with this platform where it started out with. Where it was like, oh, if there's an extra accessory, like you have the Dairobo Z, maybe a little bit more money. But now we're, like, in terms of, like, where's this going? Where's the consistency like they were having with the little Dunnies and the big Dunnies? The little ones are $12, the big ones are $75. But this all of a sudden is all over the place.
Right.
It is a 3 because, again, it is Doc A. It is based on a custom that was super limited to, I think, 4 or 5 pieces, and it was over $100. So, yeah, $40 is what you could be paying. It's $3, a level 3 star for me. But
so what did we score everything at, Ben?
what are our averages?
Let's take it back a step. I want to keep ranting for one more second. I'm just saying, when they release the line art on these things and they show the artwork on what we're going to see as a Dunny, I should be able to look at it and I should instantly be able to tell you what that price point is and be within a couple dollars of it. Because, like, that's what they've set up. There's 1,000 pieces, which is semi-limited for this, which is kind of cool. But, like, I should be able to just say, hey, this is what you did. This is what you've put into it. This is what you've done for labor. This is what this thing's going to come out at retail. And I can no longer do that, and that frustrates the hell out of me.
I wish I had a stack of papers that you could just throw in the air right now. Just flip this table.
No, don't. Don't flip this table.
So, Eleni, you've scored this one at an average of 3.2.
Respectable.
Rich, while you started off slow, you picked it up at the end, and you've scored this one at an average of 3.4. And I just started strong, stayed strong, and finished off at a 4.2.
I thought Rich's score would be higher, honestly, with the way he's so into this.
Yeah, I am super into this piece. I don't know, it's the colors, it's the sculpturalness of the head. Again, I would just turn it around and I would have it like...
So for the final question, would you buy it?
Yeah, I kind of want this one.
Okay.
I want the janky looking one.
You want the janky one?
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, just not a fucking question. I would buy it. I mean, maybe 2, because you could flip it around and have a different head on front.
But who knows? Maybe Kid Robot will have their own colorway edition of this that, is made of clear plastic and glows in the dark all at the same time. And has
Were my
goldfish in it.
collections separate from Rich's, I probably wouldn't buy it, but
shared space, baby.
Yeah, that's the way it works.
What you're saying is...
I guess I'm buying
I am reluctantly buying it.
What you're saying is he's got to use his own money.
That's
He
right.
better get on the streets and make some dollars.
Dollar. Yeah.
Scary prospect. All right, so you guys can buy these starting August 25th at happypandatoys.com. Thank you for watching.